Thank you for listening to the Matt's Movie Reviews podcast, available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Stitcher. Also, please follow Matt's Movie Reviews on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Reddit, Instagram, and MeWe. And of course, be sure to visit mattsmoviereviews.net for the latest reviews, top 10 lists, and more. Now, on to the show.
You're late.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience.
You smell like failure.
I'm watching you.
Please pick up. Please pick up. Hello?
Oh, thank God. I've been drugged and kidnapped by my ex, and I can't see anything because I broke my glasses.
Who's this?
Are you 911?
No.
Could you video call me and guide me to somewhere safe?
I don't think I'm the person to do this.
My ex is going to kill me. I need you to be my eyes for me.
Okay.
Let's go. No one is getting murdered today.
He's here. Oh, no, I see him.
I'm gonna have to find another phone. Can I use your phone, please?
Absolutely not. There is a woman who's about to get murdered.
What kind of crack are you smoking?
I want my phone back.
It's an emergency.
Where is his car?
Keep walking.
Tell me when he's here. Now!
Emily!
I can't do it alone. I need you.
Your ass is going to jail.
What the? Hey, if you got lost in the woods, what would you do?
I wouldn't get lost.
Hello and welcome to the Matt's Movie Reviews podcast. I am your host, Matthew Pejkovic, and this is episode number 508. Releasing in the US this May 7 on demand and digital is Unseen, a survival thriller in which two women form an unlikely connection when the press gas station clerk Sam receives a call from Emily, a nearly blind woman on the run from a killer. Emily tries to survive with Sam serving as her eyes through video call. A unique take on a survival horror movie, Unseen features strong performances in a visually arresting use of style, resulting in a horror movie strong of heart and pulsating thrills. And joining me now is the director of Unseen, Yoko Okumura. Yoko, thank you so very much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I love that introduction of the movie. Great job. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I love the movie, and what I've really stuck with me in the film was the relationship between these two women, these two strangers from either side of the country that are brought together for this very kind of unique circumstance. Was that something that really spoke to you as well when you first received the script, that kind of like that connection between these two women that, you know, in no other way would have been brought together if it weren't for the circumstances that they found themselves in?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 100%. You nailed it. Like that really was the core of why I thought I could, be a good director for this project because, it's inside this kind of like, mad dash, high octane thriller is really a unlikely friendship story between these two people who, yeah, exactly like you said, they would never have become friends otherwise, socioeconomically, locationally, these are two women who are never going to meet. And so that was a key component to making me feel like this, there's a lot of heart in this concept.
I thought that Midori Francis and John Lee Purdy, who star in the film, were just terrific in their roles. What's interesting about their performances is that they are, I don't know if even think at the end, they are never seen on screen together, kind of like in the same location. You do have the kind of the split screen thing going on, and they're talking through phone. And I've actually had a chance to talk to different filmmakers about how they approach the talking through phone. Some people, like one person did it through a one-take structure, and they did it just through the phone itself. Another person did it kind of similar to your film, and they had the other actor off screen. How did you go about doing it yourself with the two actors?
Yeah, we talked a lot. Like me and my producers really talked through a lot of very different scenarios. So like what's going to be the most efficient, but also creatively fulfilling and productive procedure to do this whole thing in. And we definitely talked through like, oh, maybe they should actually be on FaceTime and actually be talking to each other in real time, or maybe they're in her ear and she's talking through the earphones, but ultimately we were like, you know what, that's actually going to be much more in the way that of the performance than actually helping it, because actually contending with Wi-Fi or phone connections in the forest of
Yeah.
New Orleans, I'm trying to make sure the two actors are not having any delays and stuff was just going to be pretty much impossible. It was going to be a nightmare. So we quickly decided that if the two actors were down for the cause to come and be on set with each of them, even if the other person was never going to be seen on camera, that was definitely the way to go, and we're all very glad that that's the way we went.
What's interesting about the film as well is that both characters are dealing with two different monsters. So on one end, you have kind of like the ex-boyfriend who's turned into this like really kind of obsessive murdering type. But then on the other hand, you had Missy Pyle's character. And I got to say, she scared me more than the other character.
I love that.
It's something about Missy that she's really great at playing kind of like these characters who can be incredibly mean, but do so in an incredibly entertaining way as well. Like intimidating, but entertaining. When it came to you and Missy kind of putting that character together, what kind of references do you look at? I mean, to me, it kind of almost seems like a discarded outtake from like one of those Real Housewives kind of shows. Like she was too vicious for that show. Kind of like that was like the thing that I took away from it.
Oh yeah. I think now, the kind of the stereotype of the Karen is so much in the zeitgeist that we all kind of have this cultural reference for that.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, I made sure when I talked to Missy that, we talked about Carol as a real person. Like why is she so heightened and so angry in this particular moment in her own life? We just made sure to build a very high stakes problem for her. There's a whole story going on with Carol that, we as the audience watching this movie don't really even know about. She has a yacht party going on that is very high stakes for her. We definitely built her as somebody who comes from lower means and like crawled her way into higher society, and thus has like this like, very, very emotionally intense, like, involvement in trying to maintain that status. So we just wanted to make sure that, again, her anger came from somewhere real for Missy. And that, so yeah, references were definitely like, yeah, Florida, a housewife who maybe got into the position of being wealthy because of some, like scams. So we had a lot of ways to build this person, but still, allow Missy to, again, empathize with her.
The Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is brought to you by TeePublic. TeePublic is the world's largest marketplace for independent creators to sell their work on the highest quality merchandise. With over 1.2 million designs, TeePublic is sure to have something you'll love. The Matt's Movie Reviews podcast is brought to you by Amazon. The world's leading online store, Amazon is your first stop to buy a wide range of products at competitive prices with fast delivery times. Amazon is also a world-class entertainment hub that includes Prime Video, Audible, Twitch, Amazon Music, and more. Sign up with Amazon today and experience the best in online shopping and entertainment. Please support Matt's Movie Reviews on Patreon. Get access to exclusive content, request movie reviews and top 10 lists, and help support my work. Please click on the Patreon link in the description below. You have parallel locations in this movie happening at the same time. Use of split screen, which can be really tricky sometimes, but I think you pulled it off really well in this movie. And the cutting back and forth from your editor, Michael Block, was really well done as well in the film. When it comes to the visual aspect, the kind of like the really kind of pulsating, kind of like visual, snappy kind of thing that we see on screen, how do you approach that in pre-production? Do you like to storyboard? Do you have long discussions with Michael regarding this? How do you go about framing the look and the editing of your film?
Yeah, I definitely had, a lot of visual references that I had pulled specifically for the DP, Fede Verardi, to make sure that we were on the same page. But yeah, specifically talking about the split screens, I was also pulling lots of split screen references, whether it's from music videos or even commercials, to make sure that we were all on the same page from a creative and technical standpoint. And so yeah, everybody from, pre-production to post-production, no matter what their roles were, I made sure to that they kind of all had a deck where I was explaining my approach to the whole entire movie. But the split screen again, even from like I did do like a director's pass just to put in some of my cinematic intentions into the script. And even from that point, I had written in several very key moments where split screen was going to be present, and that everybody on the crew should be aware of that for scheduling purposes and everything. But then, it did continue to evolve. And with Michael Block, in post-production, as far as pushing the boundaries of the split screen when it comes to, kind of the fragmented split screens that were more like shattered pieces, that's definitely something that came through my collaboration with him.
I always look out for the use of color in films, and sometimes I might over jump the gun in regards to what a color might be like symbolically in a movie. And there's two colors that really stood out for me in this movie. Of course, in Jolene's part, the color green really stands out. She works in that Gator Galore gas station. Green's there. The slushy machine being green in the vest as well. And then you got, on the other hand, Midori in her purple tracksuit, because she was running, of course, at the start of the film. So when it comes to those two colors, green is in a lot of ways people talk about new beginnings and growth when it comes to green, and purple people talk about ambition and dignity. And her character being a doctor and someone who really, and I think during the time, even though she's very blind and in the film she can hardly see because she doesn't have her glasses, it's almost kind of like a poise that she has towards her, and that she won't get too panicked in the moment that she's in. Were the colors of green and purple something that was intentional, or was that something that was more kind of like happenstance when it came to your film?
I would say the symbolism that you just kind of described was not imbued from the original intentions. I feel like the symbolism of colors often can differ depending on the culture, depending on the era. So when it comes to what I could control as far as like what as the director making these color choices for me was it was really about the contrast between these two women, trying to create similar spaces for them on both sides that kind of connected them together. So, Midori is surrounded by a forest of green. Like, it's colored to be a little bit bluer just to differentiate the worlds and make sure that it looks colder. But I just wanted to make sure that both women mirrored each other. And like the green forestry was also kind of like present in Jolene's side, but in a very artificial, faked way. And, some of the pink accents that were in that green gas station, some of the pink neons and stuff that were kind of in this like purpley version on Midori. So I was always cognizant that when you see these two women in a split screen, I didn't want it to feel like completely different movies. I wanted to feel cohesive and designed, and to be completely honest, green is my favorite color. And it's just something that fills me with a lot of like true joy. And I just always try to build these frames that stimulate me visually, and hopefully do for the audience as well.
This is your feature film debut. I know you worked previously in shorts and in TV as well. And I know you've done screenings of this film like in cinemas beforehand, and people will be watching this on demand and digital. But when it comes to the cinema experience of you showing your feature film to an audience, and you see an audience react to the different beats and the performances and the color and everything else, what's that experience like for you when watching that? And is that something that's always going to stick with you?
Oh my goodness, of course. The advanced friends and family screening was so important to me and the filmmakers and the actors because, there's really nothing like being with other people reacting to something that you created. And I think especially this film actually feels like a movie theater movie to us. Like it always felt like, fast and big and loud and in your face, and something that would really pay off to be experienced with other people in a theater. So we were really happy to do that. And again, there's nothing like, hoping that people will laugh in this moment that you worked so hard on and then actually getting that laugh, and when it's an on-demand movie, you just have no idea how effective those movements really were for other people. You just kind of hope. So the visceral experience of being in that room with everybody was, it's unmatched.
Well, having watched it myself through a screener, I can say that even on a smaller screen, it plays very well. Unseen is a movie. I think it's a film with momentum and depth, with style and substance, and I think it works really well, both as a genre piece and a character piece as well. And I got to say, Yoko, you did a really great job here. Feature film debut. I know you have many experience behind you, but you really knocked it out of the park here. And for everyone out there listening, May 7 in the US, on demand and digital. Watch Unseen. It's a survival thriller. It goes for a nice crisp 80 minutes, but it's 80 minutes where you're going to be glued to the screen. And Yoko, thank you so very much for your time today. Congrats with the film and best of luck with the release. Thank you for watching the Matt's Movie Reviews channel. Please subscribe for more reviews, podcast interviews, and exclusive content. Also, if you would like to request a review and support my work, please join my Patreon via the link in the description below.